Hi, cuties. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is the Young and the Restless edition. All right, let's get started. So, this is the Young and the Restless edition. Today is Monday, a new week to the soaps, June 25th, 2022. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give this a an 8.5. Let's go right into it. We see Ashlyn and Victoria. So, Ashlyn and Victoria, they're picking up from where they left off Friday with him saying this is only going to end one way. And she's like, Ashlyn, what do you mean by that? He said, I should have known that you were lying to me. You're such a liar. And she says, Ashlyn, that's rich that you're the one calling me a liar, considering you lied about everything. And he said, what I did, how I lie, it's different than you. And the only reason it's different is because you got your feelings hurt, Ashlyn. I mean, let's be honest. You got your feelings hurt, and that's why it's different. Because you went into this whole marriage lying to Victoria and everything. But since he's upset, he just tells her, I should have let you burn in the car. I should have never rescued you. I loved you. You made me feel, and now I'm feeling all these feelings, and you just used me. You don't care anything about me. He's just all emotional. And she tells him, because our phone is ringing, and she tells him that's the security detail, and if I don't answer my phone, they'll be raiding this place in 15 minutes to check on me. He said, well, that we better hurry up and get this over with. And I said, Ashley, what are you doing? So anyways, let's move on. So then we see Jack and Phyllis, and Jack and Diane, and I said, what is going on here? What is going on here? Jack and Diane. Diane comes over pretending that she wants to see Kyle, but then she starts talking to Jack, and he's like, our grandson, and Jack is borderline flirting with Diane, and I'm like, what are you doing? So they're sitting down talking, and she's telling him, I need some advice, and he's like, what do you need advice on? And she was like, everything with Marchetti and everything that's going on. She just needs his words of wisdom. I said, well, wait, how can you give advice to Diane when you told Phyllis you couldn't give her advice? That was personal and everything. So how are you able to give this advice to Diane when you wouldn't do it for her, Phyllis? And so he's giving her advice, and they're just talking about how they're talking about her past and how happy she is to be with Kyle. And he's telling her, thank you so much for what you did with Ashlyn. Just say thank you, Jack. And then he tells her, let's have a drink. You're here, let's stay, go ahead, have a drink with me. And she's like, oh, well, I know if it's you, it's gonna be smoky and 25 years old. And he was like, you know me so well. I said, excuse me, Jack, what are you doing? See, this is why Phyllis did what she did, and you're not seeing it. Like, he completely does not see and understand why Phyllis went the way she did. But I see it, and quite frankly, I don't understand it. And then Diane says, I hope one day that you'll be able to like completely forget. They'll have a good relationship or something. And he said, I wouldn't hold my breath, or I wouldn't do. He said something to that nature, and I'm like, Jack, please. Oh, please. You're sitting here the whole night. You flirted with Diane. And to be quite honest with you, Jack doesn't know how he feels, because one minute he's flirting with her, the next minute he's throwing her being dead in her face. Then he's back to flirting with her. Sir, you need to think about your own feelings. That's why Phyllis went crazy in the first place, because you don't know what your feelings are. Let's move on. And then we see Nikki and Phyllis. And so Nikki had been on the phone with Victor, and he had told Nikki about Ashlyn and Adam, how Adam said Ashlyn, doesn't seem stable, and he threatened Victoria. And so she said, just make sure she's safe. So then Nikki and Phyllis start talking about the whole Diane thing. They also mention Ashlyn as well. And they talk about how Diane is the one who helped with getting Ashlyn caught it, because Nikki's like, Phyllis, why are you so upset tonight? And she said, because Summer was singing Diane's praises, and about how much she helped get Ashlyn out of the way, so that they can end so that they could put the restraining order on him because he I can't think of the word. I'm sorry, but they're just so happy that Diane was there so that they could get Ashlyn arrested for because he yeah. So anyways, Ashley violated the restraining order, so they're just singing her praise. And Nikki was like, all Diane did was text Michael and say Ashlyn was in the area, and she didn't do this great big thing or whatever. And Nikki said you could tell on the look on Ashlyn's face that he thought he had actually made a friend in Diane. And they both say I wouldn't be surprised if Diane made Ashlyn think she was going to help him just so that so she could have him violated so he could be she could win. But anyways, they say, well, Phyllis comes up with the plan that what if we get some kind of way, get her to fail at Marchetti because Kyle is the key. So maybe if she fails at Marchetti, we can end up winning. That way that, they'll get so disappointed in her and upset that they'll banish her. And they said, well, who do we know that could help us with that? And nobody works at Marchetti. And then Phyllis says, well, I Summer had offered me a job with Marchetti and I didn't take it. She said, and Nikki is like, well, why didn't you take it? And she said, well, and Nikki said, oh, because of Jack. And she just tells Phyllis, I'm sorry about, that, Phyllis. I know how much you care about Jack and everything. So now Nikki is like, take the job at Marchetti. And Phyllis is like, how am I going to do it? And so that's when they come up with, remember Lily's offer to buy the hotel? And I said, okay, now this makes more sense. So we see Nick outside and he is trying to get in with Victoria, to just check on her, and she's not there. So he gives her phone a call and he's just like, okay, your car's here, the lights are on, but I guess you're sleeping. And he's about to leave, but something tells him something is going wrong. So then we see Ashlyn really grabs at Victoria, and I'm like, what are you about to do with her, Ashlyn? You're not thinking clearly, because Victoria is telling Ashlyn to leave. So he grabs at her and Nick bursts through because Victoria actually had to pick up a fire, how a fire poker. And so she's actually trying to defend herself from Ashlyn because he kept coming at her. And so Nick burst through the door and he's like, what is going on? And she said, I've told Ashlyn several times to leave. And so then Nick is like, Ashlyn, you need to leave. And he said, we're married. And Victoria said, you're not my husband. And then Nick is, and then Ashlyn, Nick says, Ashlyn is yelling at Victoria. And Nick says, you can't talk to her that way. He was like, you're not going to tell me how to talk to her and everything. We'll always have a connection. And the way he was talking was just really disturbing. I said, oh, he's gone. It was very disturbing. And so then the next thing you know, Victoria is going to the kitchen to get her phone to call the police because Nick keeps telling her, Victoria, call the police. I don't know why this girl just wouldn't go call the police. And so when she's going to do that, Ashley is running after Victoria, and Victoria says, you put your hands on me. And then Nick grabs Ashley and he punches him. And when he does, Ashlyn's head hits the fireplace and he starts bleeding. And Nick and Victoria are just like, oh my gosh, what's going on? What have we done? And what are we done? And so then we see Nick tell Victoria, we need to call the police. And she's like, no, I don't think that's the right move. And he says, well, at least call Chance. So then we see Sharon and Chance and they're talking about the weather. And then, he says, I think I'm going to work late tonight because things happen in this kind of weather. And Sharon is just like, yeah. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up Ray. Because, the last time it was a foggy night and Ray died. And so now he's just like, things, when it's this kind of weather, just stuff just happens. And so he gets the call from Victoria. And she tells them there's been an accident with Ashlyn, and can he please come over? And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm on my way. So then Nick just had to go for a walk. He's like, I have to go for a walk. I have to go and clear my mind and everything. So Victoria follows him. Now, I don't know how long they've been gone, but it had to be a while because they're like, wow, we're surprised Chance isn't still here. So they go back in the house, and Ashlyn's body is gone. The blood is there, but Ashlyn's gone, and they don't know where he went. And that is The Young and the Restless today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you tomorrow for a new episode. Bye.